Hi, it's Jess, and today we are hacking your morning coffee and or tea. There are several products on the market that have gotten hip to the Ayurveda lifestyle. Things like MudWtr, RYZE, mushroom blends. These are functional superfood, Ayurvedic-based coffee blends, usually for a fairly steep monthly subscription. But I've been making my own blend at home to make my lifestyle better, because it's not about necessarily dropping everything that gives us pleasure and comfort and enjoyment in life. It's about, all right, how can I tweak this a little bit so I can enjoy it without it, hurting me in the long run. I want to accumulate balance. I don't want to accumulate heartburn, indigestion, diarrhea, upset stomach, the whole Pepto-Bismol commercial of symptoms. No one wants that. So we are here to live beautiful, pleasurable lives and not have it hurt so much in the rear end. Pun intended. How do we do that? Okay, number one, you want to start with a base. Most of these formulas do this, of raw cacao, as raw as you can get it, because once anything like cacao gets exposed to heat, it loses its integrity. Most food, when it touches heat, it loses its integrity, especially in your supplements and superfoods. The whole point of these things, why we're spending the money, in this, and the time researching in the aisle to be like, oh, can you help me find this thing? I've heard it's good for my, stuff, and going through all that process. We want to make sure the thing we're actually buying and putting into our daily life, the change that we're making, is doing something. And it's going to do a lot more if it's something that has never touched heat. So you want to look for things that are raw, cold pressed, cold processed. Most cacao powders, you want cacao, not cocoa, where, the OA order in the word is very, very important. You don't want cocoa, because cocoa has been heat processed, it's been treated, and it's not a superfood. You want cacao. The spelling matters. I like the keto cacao powder when you can find it, and all keto means is that there's fat in it. That's all it means. It doesn't mean, it's any better or they put anything special in it. No, it just means they take less out, because food comes the right way from the ground, from the tree, and then the more people and machines touch it, the more bullshit it becomes. So keto cacao on its own has a natural fat content to it, and it is a fat soluble. The active ingredient in cacao, which is theobromide, yes, is it means, I believe, God, something God. It is a heart opener, heart expander. It's a vasodilator. And it's also a consciousness expander, and it's a relaxer. So it energizes. There is some natural caffeine in it. Traditional coffees and teas, they're acidic in nature. And what do acids do when they enter the body? The body likes to have a pretty level pH. It's a little alkaline, ideally. So you want to be about 7.4, 7.2 in your pH level. When you drink things that are acidic, like coffee, alcohol, most foods, all meats are acidic. You would think that things like vinegar and lemons are acidic, but they're not. They actually alkalize the body, even though they will, strip your teeth. When you drink things like coffee, it will acidify the system. And that's why you get things like acid reflux. That's why people talk about, oh, I had all that coffee, now I have to go to the bathroom. They have to eliminate, because it stimulates the contracting, the spasming of muscles. Things like cacao, raw cacao, have minerals in them that are very alkalizing. That's why things like MudWtr and, different Ayurvedic-based products that you see popping up, they have a cacao base to them to put in your coffee, because that will combat the acidity. So instead of stripping the minerals from your blood, your bones, osteoporosis and bone density is a huge problem in this country, you're abating that. Obviously, cacao is better on its own with water. Sometimes I just eat it out of the bag or mix it in some almond milk. That's obviously gonna maintain the integrity of the cacao, but like I said, it's about minimizing the burden that the things we enjoy put on our bodies. So keto cacao just means it has the fat in it still, which makes it more bioavailable, right? Like, anyone who's a big weed head knows when you cook with weed, it's fat soluble. There are nutrients that are fat soluble. There are nutrients that are water soluble. This is fat soluble, so you want to make sure that you have the fat part in it, the way it comes from the ground, so that your body can like it and be happy and it works. Awesome. Mostly cacao is what I use. Then I put a healthy dose of turmeric. Everyone knows turmeric is like the best thing ever. It's in everything now. You know, you cook with it with fat, you're gonna have to buy all yellow clothing because it'll stain everything like that. How do we make turmeric work? Yes, black pepper, but there's another ingredient. So turmeric is not a two peas in a pod buddy system with black pepper. It is actually a trifecta. It's a little menage a trois to get the true bioavailable anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, antifungal, anything. Like for turmeric to stick around in your body and do its job, it needs 3 things. So one of them, yes, is black pepper. The other thing is going to be fenugreek. Fenugreek is essential for getting the curcumin, the active compound that does all the anti-inflammatory stuff. Why turmeric is famous now. It's got a great PR campaign, that turmeric. You need a little fenugreek too, not just black pepper. So they don't tell you that. I do. Because why? Because I want everyone to be happier and live better lives and do what they want to do with their time, like I do. Okay, so yes, how does Jessica make her? I call it my coffee Agni. I've had this envelope a very long time, but I used to sell these. I might again, under a brand called Perpetual Sun. But yeah, it's coffee, meat belly, and you can use it with chai. I used to do it with chai all the time too. Once in a while I do coffee. I like to get out and see the world and be around people and, work in coffee shops because it's good to be around other people and you need a change of scenery. My goodness, sometimes. Step 1, healthy basic cacao. Step 2, make sure you have your turmeric with some black pepper and fenugreek. Yes. Step 3, I like to put a little cinnamon. Cinnamon is a carminative herb, good for the tummy, right? It's an old wives' tale thing. There's different cultures that understand, like an old grandma. When you have an upset stomach, grandma will give you mint or cinnamon because they're belly-friendly, relaxing properties. And then, my favorite thing in the whole world, maca. I love maca so much. I will always pay extra to have it added to smoothies at organic smoothie places because it's just the most beautiful thing ever. It is a South American root and it is just pure energy and vitality. It's like a malted, those malted whoppers and the malted milk balls that you would get at Halloween. It tastes like that on the inside to me. And when you go healthy, you leave a lot of old things behind, but having that taste again is heaven, especially mixed with a cacao. There's a way to make candies where you just have melted cacao, melted raw chocolate, and maca with some coconut oil. Awesome, phenomenal. Cacao, turmeric, black pepper, fenugreek, cinnamon, healthy dose of maca. Here's where it gets weird. Kapikachu. So kapikachu in Sanskrit translates to itchy monkey because it comes from the velvet bean is the American or the English label for it, but velvet bean powder. In order to get inside, the velvet beans have an outer layer which has a chemical on them which makes your skin itch. So when monkeys try to get at them, they get covered in the stuff, the fibers or the powder, whatever it is, and they end up itching. This stuff is so beautiful because it's the only plant-derived source of L-Dopa. L-Dopa is the neurotransmitter precursor to making what? Dopamine. Dopamine is what gets people in trouble and gets people addicted to things like video games and pornography. It limits your pleasure, what you perceive as pleasurable, and that's how addictions happen. Addictions are limits. I only find pleasure from this thing. I need this thing to feel pleasure. I put this in my everyday morning beverage. Why? Because why not have a little bit of dopamine? It's natural. I'm not a bad person. It's not illegal. Maybe it's not illegal because nobody knows I do it. I don't know, but get you some. Mucuna Pruriens is the other. I think you'll find it at like Whole Foods and Sprouts under the name Mucuna Pruriens. But not only is it awesome for mood, and who doesn't need that all the time, mood brightening and stabilizing, but it's really awesome for hormones. It restores hormone balance, specifically in men. but for women too. Yeah, the bag says, in men, Mucuna encourages natural potency and helps to build ojas, the essence of virality, vitality, and immunity. So ojas is a fancy way of saying like it'll help your, seminal vesicle production, very much so. In women, it's a healthy libido riser, right? Because if you're sad and depressed, lack of dopamine, depression, you don't have healthy sex drive. And that sex drive is essential not only for, trying to conceive, if that's something you're trying to do. Sex is a natural expression of human adult relationships. It's one of the things that we're built for, climbing and running and, the act of procreation. Those are all very primal, built-in body expressions, activities. Yeah, and having the right headspace when you're doing that is probably a better idea. Let's be real. Not only does L-Dopa help with or Kapikachu help with your hormone production, which also is good for physical, reproduction, but sacral chakra, right? That's where all that stuff is. It's down here, that sacral chakra. So not only is it for creating offspring, but for creating that sacral chakra, that's your creativity powerhouse. That's where you make the world what you want, where you co-create with life, where you engage, where you mix your vital life essence with the world around you, and you bring into existence things that didn't exist before, like music, like art, like starting businesses, healthy, creative. I'm gonna get in there in the raw materials of things. I'm gonna put my stamp on it. I'm going to put my energy into it and make something. That energy, that drive, that passion to, embody this virality. That's the word, right? Virality, potency. Let's go with that. Potency, no question marks, potency, to make things. And that's how we want to start our day. That's why you're drinking the goddamn coffee to begin with, because it's like, I need to go get it. Awesome. Other things that go in here. So yes, we have cacao, we have maca, we have fenugreek to aid our turmeric and black pepper. We have a little cinnamon for funsies to keep our tummy happy. What's the next thing? Avipatikar. So Avipatikar, it's a churna that I get from this company called Banyan, which has all organic, third-party tested. So this is a blend of a few different things. In the winter, I supplement with more ginger because, with less sunlight, less heat. Ginger is solar plex chakra. It opens the sun up. It opens the blood vessels up when you're cold and constricted, especially when you're drinking caffeine, right? Caffeine, it'll constrict your blood vessels, make you have cold fingers and toes. Cacao also helps to open that up. The flavonoids in cacao will not only remineralize but also open your blood vessels up and keep you flowing. Avipatikar is really awesome for things like coffee and acidic black teas, because it will strip the pitta out from the GI tract. So pitta is acidity. You can tell you have pitta in your GI tract because you will have anal mucus. There's no other way to say it. It's not a pretty way to say it. It's anal mucus. So loose, fluid, hot, right? Acidic stools. And people get that after doing what? Overindulging in acidic foods like hot, spicy things, hot sauces, hot wings, whatever your deal is, alcohol itself, liquor, that's all acid, that's all it is. And that will, have very negative consequences in the toilet the next morning. So those are extremes. Obviously, there are other things that make you too acidic, but it just pulls the pitta out of the GI tract. And no matter what, it's not just whatever dosha we have built up in the body it'll affect our elimination and expulsion process, not only in our waste, our physical waste products, your mucus, your tears, your urine and fecal stuff, bathroom materials. It also has a profound effect on what comes out of our mouth, right? What comes out of our energy field. So if you have excess pitta in the body, if you eat a lot of spicy foods or ingest a lot of liquor, that's heat in the liver, and that makes you angry, loud, passionate, upset, you cut people off in traffic, you give people the middle finger, you're not a nice person. And some people think that's normal, and it's not. So get yourself some Avipatikar. It's cooling. It'll remove. There's a little bit of sugar in this up front. There's a little bit of organic cane sugar because sugar is cooling in nature. That's why people like to go to cool sugary treats. You retain, if there's any acidity from that, you retain less of it. It helps to pull out and go out the way that things are meant to do. I personally, as somebody who has a high Vata constitution, I use cardamom. So this is my little, I get it in bulk at the organic co-op, but cardamom, it's like catnip for Vata people. I love it. When I learned about cardamom from the first Ayurvedic practitioner that I saw over Zoom during the pandemic, changed my life. Catnip, love it. To sweeten it, I put a little raw stevia. Another essential thing to have, because coffee is going to be dehydrating, I always mix in, I never leave home without my little vial of MCT oil. So I use MCT oil on a daily basis. There's nothing else like it for mitochondrial rejuvenation. And you can look that up, it's true, but MCT oil gets right in the cells. It doesn't have to process through the whole digestive system. It's like the only fat that is chemically able to just go directly into the cells and rejuvenate the mitochondria without having to go through the whole digestive process. Really awesome. So right away you get this, like that's why they have Bulletproof Coffee has their own like MCT. That's one of the main things that put them on the map, because the fat gets in your brain and your brain runs on fat. Yes, so fat is your friend as long as it's a natural organic source of it. It also will slow the caffeine absorption. So like every product like this, MudWtr, the everything, they're like, oh, it's everything you want, energy without the crash, right? The more hydrated you are as an individual outside of your coffee ingesting moments, that's gonna be less of an issue, but adding fat into it will definitely help. I always chase whatever coffee I have with like a spoonful of almond butter or something, because I just need to keep my feet on the ground, like put me back in my body. That's my issue. And to really put it over the top, invest in a pretty good stainless steel reusable travel mug. This can be hot or cold, but cups, paper cups. They say human beings, Americans, Western, whatever, you eat a credit card's worth of plastic. Oh boy. Every year. That's a lot. That's like, I got, an old Amex here. Yeah. So like, that's a lot. That's a lot. It's not a little bit. That's a lot in your whole system a year. So multiple times a year. Wow. The lining inside most paper cups at coffee shops, that's the way they come. They're insulated with that paper lining, right? So that the paper on the outside doesn't disintegrate in your car, in your hand, whatever. They line the cup with plastic, with a thin spray of plastic, which when they pour the hot liquid in there and you have the lid that says caution, contents hot, those hot contents melt the plastic lining on the inside and it becomes liquidy. So if you're ever drinking a cup of coffee, even if it's absolutely black coffee in those cups, you'll get halfway through or something, you'll take a couple sips and you'll open the lid and you'll see like, oh, there's like this iridescent layer on the top. What is this weird film? I didn't put any fat or cream, or that's weird. I wonder if it's from like the sweat of my skin oils. What is that? That's melted plastic, homie. That's liquid saran wrap. And you're drinking it and it's going right in your guts. And then you got a credit card in your system, and that credit card is going to get declined. You're going to get declined with that card. On the inside. So invest in a nice, I like to bring this. They know me. Every coffee house I frequent, they're like, oh, hey, Jess, like, where's your cup? Here it is. I live my life out of this thing. I do. And I'm proud to say it. I love it. It treats me very well. I clean it out every day. It's a ritual. Be good to your stainless steel mug. It will be good to you. Don't eat plastic. Have a happy, healthy, creative, mental, physical sex drive. Remineralize yourself with cacao. And these are things you can buy in bulk or in pretty big packaging and mix yourself. Put them all together in one of these little envelopes, and you have just hacked your morning coffee. Just so you can see how practical and travel friendly what I just showed you is, this is the envelope that I pack in my daily, bag, purse, tote, backpack, whatever I'm rocking with that day. Everything goes in a little envelope like this. And then this is my MCT oil. So I just take MCT, get yourself a little dropper. If it's under a certain milliliter size, I think this is a 2 milliliter dropper bottle. I just got at Sprouts. And you can take it on the plane. So it also goes on the airplane with you, and they won't, have to put a gloved hand up your butt or anything. It's super easy. Goes in the bag, goes in the bag, goes in the purse. That's what it looks like. Much love to you. Thank you. Wishing you health and happiness and all that jazz.